please do watch this video. We'll come back and discuss. Pavitra has just joined. I'm playing a motivational video. There is some reason behind sharing it. So I want to set the tone right for this beginning of 60 days course. Yeah. The message was very profound, and the music was also quite enthralling. That was also one of the reasons why I wanted to play this video. So the story is, if you want to earn that transformation change, because it is very much possible, very much in your limitation, you can always earn through some suffering. It can involve, it can be more painful, agonizing. There can be challenges, humiliation. So because the past continues to influence us, continues to influence our understanding of our own self, but the past can explain how you started your life. It need not be, or it cannot dictate your destination, or your future. So don't let the past dictate your future. Discipline yourself. Again, talking about this particular word discipline, I told you that is a Foucauldian theory. I don't know how many of you have read or are familiar with his famous work, Discipline and Punish. So when we take up cultural studies this time, which is one of the hot topics in my orientation class, I told you there were around 13 questions from or on cultural studies, straightforward questions. Live your life intensely. You can relate to the things that are expressed in any work, either about human emotion, relationships, or some crisis, some psychological perhaps a crisis or conflicts, because they deal with human beings, they deal with society, they deal with the life thing. No, when you don't know, nothing wrong in admitting it, because not that I know everything, nobody knows everything, nobody is omniscient. All right, so that subtitle, thing is also very famous. Mr. Kurtz, he dead, he says. So there'll be lot of allusions, lot of references to different sources. That is the feature of Eliot. Anyway, Kurtz, Mr. Kurtz, he dead, he says. Who is Kurtz? Yes, Manju says yes. In case for you had heard of this or read it. Anyway, so Kurtz is about a character. In fact, Kurtz is a character from another famous work, in the history of English literature by Joseph Conrad, Heart of Darkness. So Mr. Kurtz, he quotes for a reason for this predicament of human being, modern man's agony. Have you read Waiting for Godot by Samuel Beckett? Very famous work. So we are devoid of goals, objectives, even desires won't stay for very long. Famous line from that play, nothing happens, nobody comes. It's horrible, horrifying to live anta ಹೇಳ್ತಾನೆ. Franz Kafka, Albert Camus, Somerset Maugham, they are all very popular names in European literature, and which continue to dominate, rule the literary world even in 21st century. So in that work, there is an incident where the protagonist of the novel is facing a trial in the court for a murder trial. He has killed somebody, and the judge asks him, why did you kill? So he say, on that fateful day, I was just strolling on the beach of some place where this murder happened. The person who was walking towards me was carrying a knife with him. When he came near me, I just took out my gun and shot him dead. It was not because I was afraid of getting killed by him or getting attacked by him, but the moment he held his knife open, the scorching rays just fell on it, and the rays in turn fell on my eye, irritated me. Man cannot focus on single thing. Single-minded focus or devotion to anything is very much absent in modern man's life. That is why there are so many people even on internet from who claim to be spiritual masters, in past worries, in regrets. Life should have been like this, or if it were like this, this could not have happened. So we live in that past. We helplessly carry that past into our present. So the present is not free of our past. The past continues to regulate our life. But is there a point, can you alter the past? But in literature it is possible. I'll tell you later. A chart, a timeline chart. And I'll also explain it to you. Yeah, you can see this timeline chart. Is the chart visible to you? I know the font size is very small, but I'll tell you what a little later. Now, can you see the chart on?
Yes,
on the
sir.
Yeah. So it is
Yes,
titled.
sir.
Yeah, it is titled English Literature and Language: A Complete Chronological Timeline. So with this kind of timeline chart alone, you can answer at least some 5 to 10 questions in one examination, a session of KSET or NET. I am telling you about the minimum questions. You can even answer more than that, because if you have to answer a chronology based question or match the following question, most of the time they test you about the concept, the awareness of the literary period, and the order in which something has emerged. So this chart is loaded with all this information in a more systematic way. Anglo-Saxon period was there. Anglo-Saxons were there, and they were using this runic alphabet. That is also there as one of the options. Runic alphabet is there, right? English was a vernacular language. Which means in vernacular language andre ಚಾಸರ್ ಟೈಮಲ್ಲಿ ಇಂಗ್ಲೆಂಡ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷು ಒಂದು ವರ್ನಾಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಲ್ಯಾಂಗ್ವೇಜ್ ಆಗಿತ್ತು ಅಂತ. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು ಅರ್ಥ?
ವರ್ನಾಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಲ್ಯಾಂಗ್ವೇಜ್ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ ಲ್ಯಾಂಗ್ವೇಜ್, ನೇಟಿವ್ ಲ್ಯಾಂಗ್ವೇಜ್ ಸರ್.
ಒಂಥರ ರೀಜನಲ್ ಲ್ಯಾಂಗ್ವೇಜ್, ಪ್ರಾಂತೀಯ ಭಾಷೆ ಅಂತೀವಲ್ಲ ಆ ತರ.